I just wanted to do a quick video here to kind of show you something. So right now I have a PSP 1000 and a PSP 2000. And so the PSP 1000 I actually do not have a battery for. I've just been using it by having the actual power cable connected to the PSP. So I'll put the power cable in and then turn it on, and then I'm able to actually use the PSP. But I'll show you how that what I'm trying to do right now is this PSP is actually on firmware 3.4, and I'm just trying to update it to firmware 6.61. And then so let me show you. Right now I am on system firmware 3.4, and I want to update it to firmware 6.61. But that doesn't work because when I go through it, it says please connect the battery, yada yada yada. The issue is I don't have a battery, so it wants to make sure that the battery's at full charge before it updates. It's just a safety thing. It doesn't want to like die while it's updating because it's, I don't know, something with the flasher and then it might break it or whatever. So I don't have an actual battery for this. So if you had a battery for this, you just put the battery in and keep the charger in and you'd be fine. But right now I just have a PSP 2000 and 3000 battery. This is the 3.6 volt, the 1200 milliamp hour battery. So I'm actually going to try and use this, a PSP 2000 or 3000 battery, with a PSP FAT. I'll show you something first. When you try to take the battery in and put it in, it doesn't really seem to fit right away, but you can actually force it to fit flush. You'd have to come in bottom side, push down really hard, and then push the top part in. It seems to stick out for a little bit at first, but then you can actually push that down and push it in. So now it seems to be in pretty firm. However, when you turn to switch it on, nothing happens. So what I'm going to do is instead put the power, while that's in there, put the power cable in, turn it on, and now we actually see the little battery logo come up. Before it wasn't there. And so now I'm going to go ahead and go into memory stick, and let's see if this works. And there we go, we can see that it's actually installing the update. And just to make sure you guys see, this is the same battery, 3.6 1200 milliamp hour battery, not the fat one. So the last thing I'm also going to show you guys is getting out the battery. That's going to be a little difficult. You're not able to just kind of nudge it out with your finger. So what I'm actually using is this little plastic pry tool and this little plastic spudger. I wouldn't recommend using anything that's metal. Use something that's plastic instead. So something like this is probably a no. I mean, last resort, I guess you could do it. The battery is in a casing, but just be careful. I would recommend something with plastic. If you do use something with metal, maybe put some kind of cloth over it and then use it like that. So again, this is just a bypass for if you want to update, and it'll actually read a battery in there. If you want to continue playing and using the battery, that won't work. Once you unplug the power cable, it will actually turn off. So let's go ahead and finish this up. So now just check really quick. We are on firmware 6.61. You can tell because it's a newer firmware because you saw the actual, like the comics and stuff like that, or in the extras. But just really quick, there we go, version 6.61. So now I can come in and delete this. So again, it's still showing the battery. Now let me show you what happens if I take out the plug. So it'll just completely die, or disconnect from it. But at least I had a battery read, so that was just to get the thing to update. So now to take this out, what I'm gonna do is take this spudger tool. Sorry, I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. I need to borrow one of my hands back. Kind of wedge this in, and while that's wedged in, I'm going to pull this one out. So let me kind of show you. So I have this wedged in here, and the blue guy wedged in there. So I'm pulling out kind of both at the same time. So let's see if I keep that going. I'm sorry for the crappy camera angles. There we go. So now the battery's out. We'll put that aside. And now I am on firmware 6.61, and I can continue going about my business without the battery in there. So if you wanted to just use a PSP 2000 battery or 3000 battery, I don't think it'll work. There's no way I know that, or I haven't heard of it being able to work in a PSP FAT, PSP 1000, but you can use a PSP 1000 battery in a PSP 2000 or 3000. So if you had the battery for this one, the fat one, that can fit in here and work in here. You just won't be able to keep the battery cover on. You'll have to actually hold the battery with your hand or take it or something. Oops. But yeah, there's no way to keep a 2000 or 3000 battery working on a 1000. Alright, hope that helped out. Hope you found it useful, and see you guys later. Thanks for watching.